Vamos, boys. Vamos. Into the knockouts. Vamos. Guys, listen, I'm sorry that you're not going to see a live reaction to the starting lineup. Actually, if you watch the pack opening that we did today for the player pick, you may have been able to hear me in the recording, because I did say it in stream today. Like, I'm going to leave the stream open so you guys can go see. People were asking me about what my opinion was for the starting lineup. I was 100% okay with every single player that was on the pitch, okay? Yet again, we start off with a starting lineup that is going to be well balanced for the team when it comes to attacking and defending. You guys can see, okay? We're going to get into the second half and all this kind of stuff, but you guys can see why, when you put Rafael Leao on the pitch, when you don't have a balance with the rest of your team, how it's completely messed up, okay? Listen, the starting lineup, completely balanced once again. Dude, I can get emotional for this kid right here, man, because you guys know me. I love Nuno Mendes so much. I'm gonna go and do this because I can show you guys the Twitter as well from us tweeting the game and stuff. I absolutely love Nuno Mendes. Nuno Mendes is my guy. This kid, you know, when he was in Sporting playing in left wing back, and then that 3-back formation, he's just so good. You know, he's fantastic at attacking. He's got the pace. He defends well. He's just great. And to be fair to Rafael Guerrero, once he got on the pitch, he did do a pretty decent job as well. Nuno Mendes is just that guy, right? So he came back from injury, started off the game. Danilo Pereira apparently broke his ribs, but even if he didn't break his ribs, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think Pep would have started the game anyways, right? The reason why I believe this is because Pep is still, to this day, he could be 50 years old, and this guy is still an absolutely experienced center back to have in the team. Don't get me wrong, in the future, Antonio Silva will definitely get his opportunities. You know, depending on the situation of the games that we do play, he may want that extra bit of pace in that area, which, to be fair, Pep's not like completely slow. He's just a very, like, if you watch his style of defending, he's just a very intelligent, you know, mature defender. Like, you could just tell this guy's been in the professional scene for as long as he has been, right? The rest of the team, always well balanced. This duo right here between Bruno Fernandes as well as Bernardo Silva has been absolutely fantastic so far this World Cup. These are the two guys you just can't take off the pitch right now. Why can you not take them off the pitch? Because they are so hardworking. It's unbelievable, okay? You need to have those hardworking players on the pitch at all times, which he provided with the substitutions at some points, right? William Carvalho, what he offers your team is composed passes, trying to open up the space in certain ways, right? Building up the play slowly. But this is only possible, right? This is only possible depending on the situation of the game, because from the first half, it was a game of tactics. There wasn't really much going on, to be fair. What I will say is I can't hear the Portuguese people. I can't hear the Portuguese people. My ears, like, I can't hear you. Diogo Costa should be on the bench for what? For what? Because he did one mistake. You think those two other goals, it was his fault, right? No. Santos stays with Diogo Costa because Diogo Costa has absolutely incredible distribution, okay? That's why he stays on the pitch, and he also makes great saves. If it wasn't for Diogo Costa in the first half of the game, we don't know if we would have conceded to a different goalkeeper. We don't know, okay? If Rui Patricio was on the pitch, we don't know, okay? Diogo Costa made the mistake for almost, you know, conceding the third goal. He will never make that mistake again. Lesson learned. We still won the game. His head has to be held high, and he did a fantastic job this season. People don't understand the mental game you play when moments like that happen to you in your life, okay? And he was fantastic today. Distribution was great. To be fair, almost conceded the goal to the post, but it was a fantastic strike. He held the angle well enough. It's one of those types of things, man. Bentancur, what a player this guy is, man. And you know what? To be fair, he has been fantastic for Spurs this season. He's just been a great player. He was by far the biggest threat that we had today. This guy is absolutely incredible, absolutely shredded our defense in fantastic dribbles to be able to open up the space for himself. But Diogo Costa with a great save to keep us in the game. If they score that opportunity, it's a different game entirely, guys, because it's games like this, when it's Portugal, Uruguay, I was even telling my boy Gonzalo, it's probably gonna be a boring game for the most part until a goal is scored, right? When the goal was scored, it was a little bit more open for both sides. So here's what happened throughout the game, right? We're gonna show all of the match events here. from beginning to end. So Nuno Mendes getting injured, very unfortunate. It was very important that, you know, Guerrero performed as well as he did, which he did a pretty decent job. I have no complaints about him, right? Ruben Neves over here, definitely a yellow card that he should have gotten. He had to stop that attack because you never know what comes from it, right? Bruno Fernandes on the first goal, right? So, you know, Ronaldo was trying to claim it. It was from the header. To be fair, at the end of the day, guys, Ronaldo yet again had a pretty decent performance. He played well. He did his job. And that's the only thing you can ask for when it comes to each individual player. He did his job today. If Ronaldo was not on the pitch for that Bruno Fernandes cross, we wouldn't have scored that opportunity. So whether it was for Ronaldo, whether it was for Bruno, I don't care. If they give it to Bruno, I have absolutely zero problem with that, right? So Bruno Fernandes takes that opportunity, scores, does a fantastic job. Here's where it became more of an issue, okay, when it came to this Portugal game. This is where it became a little bit of an issue. So him taking off Ruben Neves for Rafael Leão, that's an issue, right? Because you need to format your entire team to be able to kind of compensate for Leão in your squad. So during this time period, right, of the 70th minute up until the 80th, the 10-minute time period, I was freaking out, right? Because you'll see me saying right here at some point, and I can't read some of these things because you guys know me. Bastion and Schweinsteiger out later today. You know, Mendes getting injured obviously was really sad about that. I don't care if it was Bruno Ronaldo that scored. And then at some point in that moment of the game, right, when Rafael Leão came on the pitch and it was 2 minutes afterwards, I'm like, brother, Palhinha needs to be on the pitch soon. We need that type of player in the midfield. And you could see that he made that immediate difference. This guy offers absolutely fantastic defensive presence in the midfield, and we needed it. The middle of the pitch was opening up way too much. We needed that extra presence. But what was great about the 3 substitutions, okay, because you can see that there's a time period here from 41 minutes into the 32 minutes, that 9-minute gap, that's where they were just attacking us like crazy. And then Fernando Santos makes 3, in my opinion, perfect substitutions because he keeps Bernardo Silva on the pitch. He keeps Bruno Fernandes on the pitch, who are workhorse monsters, okay? He puts Mateus Nunes, who's a fantastic player to put on as a substitution. Gonzalo Ramos is a fantastic striker to replace for Ronaldo because Ronaldo's not going to be that guy to defend, you know? And then João Palhinha for William Carvalho. This was the main one, okay? Because we already have that balance before if Ruben Neves is on the pitch, right? But depending on the situation of the game, before we were doing that as well with William Carvalho by himself, but we were tied, we need a goal, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different than, you know, we're a goal up and then the momentum is going to be shifted to Uruguay. These 3 subs completely shifted the game again. Perfect substitutions. You could even see that when he made those subs, because I was freaking out. I was going to have a heart attack if I did not see Palhinha on the pitch at some points, right? And then once he made those subs, I'm like, 3 perfect subs. It's in God's hands now. And then there's obviously the penalty situation, which is controversial to people. Guys, listen, if you guys watch professional football, the Ronaldo situation of him getting the penalty in the first game was correct, but it was almost voided by the foul that shouldn't have been given from his goal scoring opportunity. I don't care what anybody says. It's too soft to give that, right? But the penalty was horrible, but it's like it canceled out in a way, right? This opportunity, guys, yes, Jimenez's hands is behind his back, but it's still flailing. The only way that you can make an argument for where is he supposed to put his hands, guys, have to be like this, held like this, not in a butterfly, It has to be like this. If you hit the hand like this, but your hands are not flailing, right? Your hands are behind your back like this. You can't give a foul for that. If that were to hit his arm like that when he's doing this and he's really holding that position, it's not going to be a handball. But his hand is still flailing behind him, guys, okay? So whether people agree with that or not, it's a penalty. And at the end of the day, I was kind of sitting there like this. I was like, you know what? Whatever decision the referee goes with right now, I'll go with it. I wasn't passionate about getting the penalty there, but it made sense that he gave it, in my opinion. It's still flailing. Like I said, guys, if you're butterfly like this and your arms are still out, they can still count that. But when you're holding it like this, right, and it's part of your body and it's not flailing behind you, like if you were to tackle and your hands are like this, you're not gonna get a handball for that. And if they give it, it's completely controversial and right to give. Okay. Bruno steps up, takes the penalty. It's a fantastic penalty, right? Like, it's one of those penalties where on social media, if he misses, people will make fun of him. If he scores, they think he's a beast, right? So at the end of the day, if that's his penalty kick style and he goes with it consistently, I'll take it. It was the same thing as Paul Pogba back in the day, right? But this little hot step that Bruno Fernandes does on the pitch for him to take his penalty, is like it's really good because he keeps looking at the goalkeeper, and then last second the goalie makes a small movement, he goes the opposite direction, right? You could tell that the penalty itself isn't actually well struck. He's just waiting for the moment the referee, the goalkeeper makes that certain decision when he dives to one side, right? So Portugal off to the knockouts, very content, honestly. It was a game by, at the end of the day, it was well managed. People can keep talking about Santos as much as they want. It was a well managed game. These games are not easy, okay? Every single national team has been tough to play. Look at Costa Rica. Costa Rica beat or lost 7-0. And then they won the next game 1-0, and they still have a chance of qualifying, okay? This is how football goes, guys. Football is based off of moments, okay? If Bentancur scores that opportunity against us with Diogo Costa making the save, this is a completely different game because Portugal versus Uruguay is a very defensive game, okay? Let's just put that out there right now. It's a very defensive game. It's going to be balanced until that first goal is scored. Bruno Fernandes, absolutely brilliant today. 100% should be getting man of the match like he did in the first game. It's a fully warranted man of the match if he did get it. This duo of Bernardo Silva and Bruno being on the pitch with the workhorse monsters that they are, it's brilliant. I'm 100% okay with it. I have zero problem whatsoever. You know what? An argument can be made for the Portuguese starting lineup for William Carvalho because of the way that it's lined up for it to be Vitinha. I'm going to tell you guys why, okay? Because Vitinha is also another kid that is a workhorse monster. But, you know, William Carvalho is also a bigger guy, offers more of a physical presence in that midfield, which is probably what he wants, considering the way that the team is formatted. Yet again, with Ronaldo and João Felix being up top, João Felix kind of acting like that secondary striker, left winger, works out perfectly as well, right? I'm totally okay with that because João Felix, ever since this kid went to Atletico Madrid, has become a significantly better defender than he was in his Benfica days. Anybody can say that. I don't remember which opportunity it was where the cross was put in and it hit the post, but that was during that time period where I'm like, dude, a sub needs to, like, before that ball hit the post, I'm like Palhinha before, right? I'm like Palhinha needs to be on the pitch, right? Once he got on the pitch, it was just really well balanced, right? Having that extra midfielder with Mateus Nunes while still working with Bernardo Silva and Bruno Fernandes was fantastic. And then Gonzalo Ramos, I'm such a huge fan of this guy, man. I really am. This Gonzalo Ramos guy, he's a great player. He's a big player for Benfica. They could do big things this year because of him existing, him, João Mati, all these guys, right? But I'm okay with this result today. I think the result was perfectly fine. Wasn't against it whatsoever. This game, if you guys watch this game is the perfect example of why Leão does not start every single time. Leão is more of a direct player, more of an attacking player. Yes, I know that people don't want that, but if football is going to be a game of moments and you're a World Cup qualifying team, you gotta take these things into consideration, okay? When Leão got on the pitch, we were off balance until the 3 substitutions were made, and then we were well balanced again, okay? And to be fair to Leão, after those 3 substitutions were made, he played a little bit better, you know, defended some opportunities here and there. The problem with Leão, right? I love this kid, and I think he's absolutely fantastic, but because he is too attacking oriented, in a situation like this where we're winning 1-0, you need, like, in my opinion, a Jota type of player. João Felix was tired, right? But a Jota type of player in that situation is perfect. That's why he always played for us in the national team. It's because he does that hard work for the team. If you have Ronaldo and Leão on the pitch at the same time, it's perfectly fine. But the rest of your team needs to be well balanced to accommodate those 2 players up top. That's why we were so open until these 3 substitutions, okay? So it was a well-managed game. I have no complaints, to be honest with you. I personally think it was a penalty, regardless of whether people think it's biased for Portugal. Listen, I told you guys that it was soft against Ronaldo for the penalty against Ghana. This one, I don't think so, man. I was just sitting there with my dad. I'm like, Dad, my dad wasn't there, but I was like, if he gives this penalty, like, I wouldn't be against it. You know, it's not like, oh wow, like Portugal got lucky there. Like, no. It's the way that you have to have your hands behind your back. It's very important for the referees to give you a clear and obvious handball, or one is just like, yo, he can't really do much about that. You know, like, that's just how it happens. When you slide tackle, guys, how many times do people slide with the ball, but their hand slides with the pitch and it hits their hand and it's a handball? Because it has to be behind their back. A butterfly makes more sense if you're going in for a slide tackle because of the way that your body has to go into it. It makes more sense. But even still, it has to be, your arms have to be part of your body. If they're out, that's where it's going to be more obvious for a handball. And in his case, it's out from behind him, right? So It's just how it is. Listen, I'm happy that we qualified. We might have some changes in the second or in the third game. Might see players like Vitinha and stuff being on the pitch. It would be a very good opportunity for Fernando Santos to experiment with certain things if he really wants to. I think we have guaranteed first place in the group. So if we have guaranteed first place, that would be brilliant, right? Guarantee first place. And then we can experiment with certain things. I wouldn't be surprised, guys, to be honest with you, if we were to start off the next game in a 4-2-3-1 setup. I would not be surprised. That or a 4-1-4-1. Those two, or a 4-3-3 with Leão starting, just to see what kind of balance we could work with. We could potentially see Vitinha playing right away with Palhinha playing right away. Like, I could see some experimental things happening in the next game, potentially. But I'm happy with the result. It was a game of tactics. It was a game of moments. We're lucky that the ball hit the post, because honestly, Santos 100% should have made the substitutions before that moment even happens. Because once we made this sub where Leão was on the pitch and we didn't have that balance in the midfield, he had to make the subs quicker there. And at the end of the day, he did. He did make the subs, so I'm not completely against it. They were all three perfect subs. No problem. So, guys, that's the review for the Portugal-Uruguay game. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead and work on Bastian Schweinsteiger now. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.